Hello, this video will show you how to enter a fire drill in iCM. From your home page, you will scroll down to drills. Here you will only have access to be able to see homes or locations that you have access to. So as George Washington, I have access to our test home. So I'm going to go ahead and add a drill for our test home. I'm going to enter the start date and time. And click add. Now I'm going to go over to this edit button and I'm going to enter all of the other details of our fire drill. So I will select the shift. I'm going to say that this was the day shift. I'm going to say that George Washington was the lead staff on duty, which means he's also the person responsible. This would be the person that's actually conducting the drill and entering it into iCM. The type of event that we're going to have at Bella McCree is going to be a simulated drill, not an actual event, but a simulated drill. And they should all be unannounced. The drill type you will select is fire. If there were any other participating staff, you would enter that here. Participating people, if I select this, all of the individuals in our home, in our test home, will show up. I'll now indicate the number of non-ambulatory folks, so anybody in a wheelchair. At Bella McCree, this option we will not be checking off. This says, was this discussion only, meaning there was no evacuation. When we do our fire drills, we do evacuations. So you should leave this blank. The total evacuation time. So when we entered this initially, we were able to enter a start and end time, but it didn't have it down to the seconds. So in this case, this actually took us 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Were all of the people evacuated? Notice this defaults to no, and you have here an option to say the reason why somebody was not evacuated. If you state this, then likely your program director is going to come back with a review and say, hey, we need to redo this drill. So hopefully we're clicking yes, and then everybody was able to participate in the drill and they were evacuated. Notice by clicking yes, iCM automatically says, well, you already entered 4 people, so we're just going to automatically calculate that for you. The evacuation route, the primary, we're going to say is going to be the front door, and the secondary is going to be the back door or the side door. Now, the other option would be maybe you used both exits. Maybe 2 folks were able to exit from the front door, and then 2 folks entered through the back door. One had a wheelchair, and one uses their walker, and they use the ramp. So that's on the back of the house. If I click this, I can just describe that scenario. So I can say, you know, Mickey and Minnie exited from the front door, and Daisy and Donald exited through the back using the ramp. The evacuation too, your evacuation plan should state a rally point, so you can just check that here. If for some reason you all evacuated to something other than that designated rally point and you click other, you now have the ability to say where it was that you all met up at. The rest of this mimics our current fire evacuation form, all of the different checks that we do. So you're just going to make your selections going down this checklist. Every time that you click on a checkbox, it will give you a comment box. So if you need to add any other detail, you'll have the ability to do that. There are only 2 of these that will require you to enter a comment. So I'll show you that as we go through. The evacuation route is posted with arrows and a rally point. Fire extinguishers are present on all levels of the home. fire extinguishers are all in the green. So that's looking at that gauge and making sure that it's still good. Fire extinguishers have an inspection date posted within the last year. This one will require you to enter the date that that inspection tag states, which I think usually states the month and the year. It might state the month, the date and the year. So I'm just going to say that this happened in July of 2025. So we are good. It has not been a year yet. Smoke detectors were tested. The sprinkler system was checked and an inspection date posted within the last year. If you check this, your house has a sprinkler system. And again, that is going to require you to enter that month and year at the least. If it has the day, enter that as well. So maybe this one had the date, and we can say this was August 20th of 2025. Again, we want those dates to be within the last year. Otherwise, they are past due. And then the rest of these, I'm going to go ahead and check off that I checked all of these different areas. So the pump and the tank system, we checked around it. We checked the power and circuit breaker. We did all of these things. If you have comments, overall comments, you can mark them here. But again, if there was any comments specific to any of these checks, that you can make those comments there. Once you are done, you're going to come up here and click Save. Do a final review. Make sure everything that you entered looks correct. And then you want to come down here and you want to make sure that you sign this. So this is similar if you've done an incident report in iCM. It gives you a chance to make sure everything's good. You can still edit this, but you definitely want to make sure that you sign this. Otherwise, it is not completely complete. Okay? So that is the first step in completing a fire drill in iCM. All of our DSPs at Bella McCree will have the ability to do this at the locations that they are assigned. Program directors, once a fire drill on your caseload is completed, you'll receive an alert within iCM. In order to view that drill, you'll want to come to drills. Then I would suggest that you utilize the filters to help you sort of narrow this down, since you're going to see multiple homes in here. That way you'll only see the one that you want to look at. Here you can go through and review everything that the staff has put in. You want to make sure that you pay attention to certain important things that you're used to looking at, seeing who participated in the drill. Did everybody make it out? Did they make it out under 3 minutes? Make sure all of this is checked off. Everything's been checked. All of these have good dates on them. And see if there are any comments listed that need to be followed up on. And then here you have the manager evaluation. So here you want to go ahead after you've reviewed all of this, click Edit. And you want to make your selections for your evaluation here. So evacuation time was satisfactory. If you click no, it's going to say, is evacuation time more than 3 minutes? If it was, then you can give an explanation here. Hopefully that's not the case. Was the emergency plan satisfactory? If you click no, it's going to give some options for you to say, these are the areas that we need to address. And then your overall evaluation. So if you've selected yes for both of these, then it should be good. If you've selected no for either one of these, then this overall evaluation should be fair or poor. Problems observed, you want to go ahead and summarize that here. If everything was good, you want to go ahead and say everything's good. If there's any follow-up action here, you can go ahead and add that here. And here we maybe want to say, just as an example, redo the fire drill. Yeah, please. Ooh, I can't type. Redo the fire drill. Time exceeded 3 minutes. You do not want to assign this to a role. So if you assigned it, say, to the FLD role, then everybody that has that role is going to get this. In this case, you want to assign it to a very specific user. So if you're assigning this to the FLD, you want to assign it specifically to that FLD, and you want to give them a due date. And then go ahead and add that. What we are going to ask, because this is going to go into the My Work feature for the Family Living Director, and that's a new feature for some. So if you do add something through this, it's a great way to track it, but I would suggest that you follow up with your FLD then. Shoot them an email, shoot them a message in iCM, shoot them a text, just let them know, hey, I added a task, it's due on this date, please take a look, let me know if you have any questions. Just until people are more comfortable using the My Work feature in iCM. It's helpful and it certainly is great at tracking within this drill section. I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable using it before we fully rely on it for communication. So once you've added all of what you want in this task, you can go ahead and click Add. Notice it's showing as incomplete here. You as the program director, you do have the ability to mark this as completed, but ideally if you've assigned this to somebody, then they will go ahead and mark that as complete in their tasks. Family living directors, if you have been assigned a task by your program director, you're going to access that through the My Work feature in iCM. And that's over here, this little file box here. I'm going to go ahead, it's showing 0. I'm going to go ahead because my program director told me that they made this due this week. So I'm going to change my filter here and notice I have a task now, and that's redo the fire drill. So if I click on this, I'm going to see any of the other details that my program director put in there for me. And it says, please redo the fire drill. The time exceeded 3 minutes. So ideally what you would do before you mark any of this done or you make a comment or anything like that, ideally what you would do is you'd schedule that fire drill or you'd complete the fire drill. And then you want to come in here, you have the ability to mark this as in progress. And notice that changes from an open task to in progress. So I can come over here and look at my in progress. So now say I've completed the fire drill now. What I'm going to ask that you do is that before you mark this as done, that you go ahead and you alert your program director. So I'm actually going to go ahead and alert myself and say, this is complete. That way your program director will get a little alert saying that, hey, this is now done and we're good to go. You can go in and close out that fire drill, your section of the review. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and comment this. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark this as done. And now it's no longer in your tasks. So you want to definitely make sure that you have completely done the task assigned to you before you mark it as done. Okay? So program directors, once your FLD has alerted you that they have completed the task at hand, you'll get an alert within iCM under your mentions, and then you can go ahead and you can pull up that drill again. Again, I would kind of narrow your view. And notice now that's marked as complete because your FLD marked it as complete in their tasks, and those two things are linked. So now this is ready for your review. Now, I've already signed this as George Washington. This would be the first time that you were signing this, so it should come up with the ability to pull your signature. But you want to make sure that you have signed this. So all fire drills must have two signatures. It must have the signature of the DSP that completed it, and then the signature of the supervisor or the program director that reviewed this. So once everything is good, you've signed off on this, any follow-up tasks are done. Now, if you had no follow-up tasks, then you could completely skip this step and then come down here and sign it. If you had follow-up tasks and you've assigned it, then you don't want to close this out yet because the drill isn't done. You still have open follow-up tasks. So once everything is done and you've signed it, now you want to come up here and you want to go ahead and print this and save it as a PDF. And you want to make sure that it's done in portrait and not landscape, just because it's going to make it a lot easier to read in portrait. Go ahead and save that. I'm going to replace the file I already have. And then you want to go ahead and you want to upload that. So right in the same section you're in, you're not going to leave this section at all. You're going to click on the fire drill and select upload document. Choose your file. And then here you can retitle it. So I would say, this was, January of 2026. If you want to label it with the house as well, you could do that. You could say, test home January 2026. The document type is going to be a fire drill. That's the only document type within this folder. The document date, I would put it as the date of the drill, but if you had a lot of follow-up and you wanted to save it, later in the month when it was finally done, that's fine. But I personally would do it as the date of the drill. They don't have an expiration date, and then you can go ahead and upload those. And the reason that we do this is because now we can run reports out of this. Now, we could also run reports out of the drill section itself, but this will show once it's actually completed. Because if we just run reports out of the fire drill section, it's going to pull everything that isn't complete yet. So it might still have some follow-up tasks that are not done. You haven't completely done your review. You haven't signed off on it. But if we saved the document here, we can run reports off of this, and that way we know exactly what's actually been completed from your caseload. That way there's no confusion of what's done and what's still outstanding. But once you have uploaded a completed document, then you are done with this fire drill. Okay, so that is fire drills in iCM. I know it's a lot, but it does mimic our current form. It just takes our processes that are currently on paper and it puts it into the iCM system. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.